I'm 28 years old and I did a dopamine fast for the past 5 days because I've been feeling overwhelmed. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly the pretty powerful benefits I've found so far and some surprising results as well. So, first of all, I'm Thomas. I'm a full-time doctor right now. I've been a doctor for 4 years, and I'm also trying to build this online business through YouTube and school. And I'm 28 years old, so I feel like I'm entered that new phase of life of I'm not like a young 20-year-old anymore. Life's less about fun, potentially, more about impending responsibilities, figuring out what you want to do in your life, your purpose, your career. You've got these big decisions, who you want to be with, just what direction you're going. And I think it's kind of like, this is my feeling, the last sort of chance to really make those big changes in your life, to really alter your trajectory. And I think a lot of people, I've noticed my sort of age, can get comfortable at this stage in whatever direction they're heading. They've accepted it and they're going to make the most of it. So it's rare that you're desperately trying to make a bit of a pivot, because of course there's most likely there's a lot of time for this pivot to make a big effect. Like, I'm 28, I've got potentially, in my mind, I'm gonna most likely live to say 80 years old. You know, I might not, I might live longer, I might live much shorter, but in my mind, most likely. So I've got, 50, at least 50 years of life that I want to figure out how I'm gonna live life. And yeah, this is what I'm thinking about right now. So that's the reason why I'm pursuing my dreams, or doing something different, putting myself out there, trying to create something my own, which is online business. Building this personal brand, making that leap, having that courage. But at the same time, I'm conflicted, because that's a risky pursuit. It might not make me money in theory. A lot of things can go wrong in that. There's no clear path. Then the other stable pursuit is continuing the path that I've already built. I've had 6 years of medical school, and that's not counting the years and the experience I've had to get into medical school. And then I've been a doctor for 4 years, going through the long hours, the stressful situations, the learning, to get to a point where I'm kind of have the experience and the ability to actually make a difference in, patients' lives. I have a lot to learn, I have a lot to go, but having 4 years of experience, you actually feel like, you're starting to get good at certain things. But yeah, is that the way I want to keep going? Do I want to keep progressing, become a consultant? There's a clear path, and that's certainly less risky. I'm already on that path. There's a path to keep going. So I'm kind of conflicted, between taking that risk, going all in, and, doing something different, which is the business, and also following my passions, versus keep going on the path you're on, saying no to other pivots, and just do it for other people. And it's a hard career, it's a hard profession, it can be stressful, you might not enjoy it, but at least at the end of your career, you're gonna certainly be respected in society. You're gonna make a difference to to people's lives, patients' lives, you know. And if you don't enjoy it, you can almost justify that. Like, if there's one job that's okay to not enjoy, yet still feel satisfied, it's probably being a doctor. It would be different if it was a corporate job that maybe that wasn't actually meaningful, or, you know, it was just about, so, you know, I wouldn't advise going through a whole career when it's maybe a corporate job you hate. But so that's the conflict that I'm at, and I'm at 28 years old and realize that this is the last phase where I can take that risk. Realistically, I think it becomes harder and harder as you get older, more responsibilities, maybe you have a family, maybe you have kids, and also you'll have less time, so the pivot that you make the compounding returns will be less because you have that less time. But at the same time, I think it's a perfect opportunity because I've had enough time to become the person that I am, and really decide what I want. So yeah, I think it's a perfect time. But through all of this, through working as a full-time doctor and spending time building this YouTube and this school community, it's kind of doing two jobs at once almost, and I'm not fully focused, I'm not fully committed, and I do feel overwhelmed. And one thing that I've done in the last 5 days to really slow myself down, stop feeling overwhelmed, is to cut things out of my life. And that's what I mean by this dopamine detox that I'm describing. So the last 5 days, what does that mean? What have I done? And what are the benefits and the challenges I've personally experienced? Do I feel less overwhelmed for cutting stuff out? I'm going to tell you right now. So I originally reacted to this feeling of just constantly feeling overwhelmed, constantly feeling stressed, constantly being disorganized, not focused, you know, so many things going on, uncertain about my future. So a lot of these thoughts, and I just constantly felt like I needed to be progressing, needed to see results, you know. I needed to get things faster. I was scared things won't work out. But through this reaction, I was just reacting to things, switching my attention, feeling like the days flew by. You know, in times of stress, I would often distract myself with my phone, some notifications, YouTube, the news, for example. And I realized that this method just, you know, it's got me to the position I am. I'm, you know, in my business, I've built my community to over 100 members. That's great, from zero. I've built my YouTube subscribers to over 200 subscribers, but I'm not really seeing any significant results for the work I put in. And I think that sort of was frustrating for me. So I realized I wanted to shift my mind. I wanted to do things differently. And, you know, I was reflecting on my feeling overwhelmed, chaotic, reacting to things, feeling like the days just flew in fast, and maybe, you know, distracting myself too much. So I decided I was gonna just slow things down. I was gonna cut things out. I was gonna narrow my focus. And that's sort of what led me to this commitment of dopamine detox. So I decided to cut out my phone in terms of consumption use as much as possible. Cutting out sugary food, fast food, cutting out caffeine, which I'm already doing, cutting out alcohol, which I'm already doing. But definitely the biggest thing is phone. So I think we are in the age of like 40, 50 years ago, smoking was the big addiction no one really knew about, and they didn't realize how bad it was on your health. Some people think it's alcohol these days, but we're already catching up. We know alcohol affects our health a lot. But the thing that we've accepted as part of our society that's causing such a decrease in fulfillment for people, decreasing people's attention spans, and constantly comparing ourselves to other people, really, affecting our minds is the phone and is the smartphone, and specifically social media. And that's because your mind is elsewhere. Every time you look at social media, you're comparing yourself to other people. You're getting these small dopamine hits. You know, you're subconsciously you're being affected. You're thinking you're doing stuff to please other people, and you're not listening to yourself. You're not looking internally. So personally, I'm not big on social media, but I do realize I'm very sensitive to being reactive on my phone, to consuming content. For me, the big ones are YouTube. So going on YouTube, even if it's productive things, personal development, financial stuff that I look at, or sometimes entertainment, but that does not, whenever I go on YouTube and binge watch things, it affects my brain. I feel lazy. You know, I've got huge hits of dopamine. I've been a consumer, and all that time I'm not listening to myself. I'm not reflecting on myself. I'm not doing things I want to do, and often I'm reacting to maybe feeling a bit stressed. I'm procrastinating on something. That's a big one for me, and I'm just distracting myself with this, with essentially something that's not important to my life, and I'm just watching it, justifying it. So YouTube for me is a big one. The other one, I'm gonna be honest, is the school community. Like, I'm building a school community, but you can get on school and you can react to comments, you can respond, and you can go join in other people's communities. But in the same time, you feel like you're productive, you feel like you're connecting with people, learning from people, and, you know, working on your business. But actually you're really just being a consumer, and that's something I've noticed. So I guess the two things that I'm trying to create, I want to make sure I'm not reacting, I'm not consuming this content as well, and I want to actually just create. There's two different mindsets: creator, proactive mindset, and a reactive consumer mindset. So I want to shift from reactor, consumer to creative and proactive. Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent a bit here, but essentially I've cut a lot of this out. I've been very disciplined with my phone. So I've woke up in the morning, and instead of looking on my phone, instead of checking my WhatsApp, my emails, or going on school to see notifications, I've said no, and it's been hard, it's been difficult. And I almost get a anxiety, fear of missing out sensation, but it's become easier each morning. In the last 5 days I've done it. I've driven to work, and I haven't listened to a podcast. I guess the term for it is I've raw dogged the car journey. And the first car journey was kind of uncomfortable, discomfortable. I just wanted to just listen to something. I wanted to be productive. I wanted to learn something. But I just didn't. And instead I ended up just, listening to my own thoughts. And uncomfortable the first time, but got easier by Friday, yesterday. I've kind of enjoyed the car journeys. It's become a habit. I've done nothing but driven, and I've just listened to myself, thought about stuff, thought things through. And finally I'm slowing down. Finally I feel like life is slowing down, I'm listening to myself, I'm figuring out what I want to do, and I've got time. My days aren't filled of constant distraction, like constant consumerism, looking at my phone, going to this. Instead, I've stripped things back. I've said no to things. I've written down in the morning what my day is going to be. It's going to be simple, but I'm going to go to work. I'm going to go to the gym after work, and I'm going to do admin session in the evening, and then I'm going to go to sleep. And that's been pretty simple, and it's stopped me from being overwhelmed. And every time I feel like I need to do something, I slow myself down and realize, okay, you've got your admin tasks later on in the day, so let's just focus on not reacting to an emotion right now. You're at work, for example, so just focus on work, focus on doing a good job in the hospital. And then, if I'm in the car, just need to focus on driving back home. So take things one thing at one time. I've slowed things down, become more present, and I've enjoyed the small breaks when I don't have to do anything. And I've just been focusing on that one thing, not reacting, not going backwards. Whenever there's a moment that I'm not doing anything, I just continue to not do anything. I don't need to check my phone. I don't need to be productive. I don't need to distract myself. If I'm feeling uncomfortable, if I'm feeling stressed, then I will work that out. And sometimes it takes time, sometimes it takes hours or even a full day. I realized yesterday on Friday I was like stressed and kind of felt flat through the whole day, but I still executed my plan. I was listening to myself. I was trying to work it out. And even though I didn't, I'm so glad I got through that day. And today I feel proud of myself for doing that. And the main thing is I didn't go backwards. I'm trying to build for the long term. I'm trying to do the good habits despite how I feel. And that's not dopamine driven, it's intention driven. So yeah, that's my experiences for the past 5 days. In this video, I guess the summary is I haven't given you a clear plan of the video, but I've just spoken from what I wanted to say, tried to be authentic as possible. And the reason that I feel like this is quite authentic is because my headspace right now is 5 days free of consumerism, essentially. I'm not distracted, I'm clear, I'm present right now, and I'm trying to articulate my own experience as best I can. So that's just what I wanted to say. And if you can relate to what I'm saying right now, perhaps you are mid-20s to mid-30s in that phase of life that I'm in, that I'm describing, and you do feel overwhelmed and stressed and pulled in different directions, and unsure of which direction you want to go in your own life, especially if you're building a business or a brand, but also have a 9-to-5 that you're doing, then you might want to join. Well, I say join my community, but you can go there and you can get a free. I've done a 1-hour deep work protocol, so you can have that for free. I'm building other stuff, but you can get in that community and just be around people like me who are trying to optimize for this period of our life, so we can build our business or personal brand in a sustainable, fulfilling way over the long term. And that's my goal. That's the problem I'm trying to provide a solution for. I think that's all I want to say today. If you've made it this far, then thank you.